In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Facebook reporting, why you need to use it, and how to set it up efficiently. Okay, so when you run ads, you obviously want to know how these ads perform, right? Like you want to know who the clickers are, who the buyers are, where your opt-ins are coming from. Is Facebook better than Instagram? These are all questions that we all have, okay? And initially when we're running ads, we might not necessarily have the answers to these, okay? So I've created a video to kind of go through some of my best practices, okay? So this account is actually running an e-commerce store. So most of what we do is conversion ads, okay? So you can see that I've actually set up my my reporting to a specific standard, okay? And I do this across all my e-commerce accounts, okay? So the first one is delivery. You want to make sure that you can see if it's active or inactive. CPM obviously is very important because we all pay for ads by 1,000 impressions, okay? So you want to know how much on average you're paying. Impressions is obviously good because this will tell you how many ads how many eyeballs your ads have been delivered to. That's what impressions means, okay? This tells me that 4.3 million people have seen our ads, okay? As opposed to reach, where reach is where the ad has been delivered but it hasn't necessarily been seen. Then you have the website purchases, so that's basically the results. I'm tracking purchases for this, so you can see what I'm doing here. Also the cost per website result. I'm going to say result because some of you might be running purchases, some of you might be generating leads, opt-ins, webinar signups. It could be engagement ads, it could be link clicks. So that's why I want to keep this general, right? It's cost per website purchase. And you can see that on average, you can see the amount spent. Okay, that's obviously important. You want to keep a track on your spending. And then one of my key metrics after cost per website purchase or cost per acquisition is the website purchase return on ad spend, okay, or ROAS. So I like to use ROAS because it helps me to identify winning ads very quickly, okay? And I'll explain that further shortly, okay? Because this is an e-commerce store, I like to keep a handle on website add to carts and website initiate checkouts, okay? So this tells me, these are like trend signals, okay? So this will tell me if a campaign or an ad set is going to be successful. Because if I don't see signals here, then chances are the campaign is going to fail, okay? Because they have to go through each of these steps, okay? They have to go through adding to cart, and they have to initiate a checkout to complete the order, okay? So I know if I see good numbers here, the campaign is going to be very successful, okay? And let me just sort by this. And then the last one I look at is the website purchase conversion value, okay, or revenue. So you obviously need to know revenue. If you're spending $72,000, you need to know how much that money is making, okay? And for this example, it's $183,000. So yeah, that's basically it, okay? So that's the campaign overview. The ad set overview, these are all the ad sets that we've ran. So in this particular campaigns, we have 186 ad sets, okay? Now, to set up this report, you want to go into customized columns, okay? So you can select any default report and you can select the customized columns, okay? And this is where I add the columns that I want, okay? Now, these are some of the most important ones that you can see. And obviously pause this ad so you can see these in more depth. But if you wanted to add anything, you just do a search here, like CPC, for example, and then you just select it here, okay? Or you can just manually search down this list like this, okay? Something that I like to look for ads as well is the relevancy score. The only place you'll see that is in the ads tab. Okay, so if I select all the ads, click on the ads, then you can see all the relevancy scores, okay? And I discussed relevancy scores feedback on a different call. You want to make sure this is as high as possible, okay? So it starts at 1 and it ends at 10. 10 is obviously the best score that you can get. So try and make sure this is high, okay? And there's a video that explains that in more detail. So that's basically all the columns that I use, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about is delivery insights. So Facebook has actually given us an option for delivery insights, okay? So you need to have the delivery column enabled, and you can only see it in the ad sets tab, okay? So you can see here learning. Okay, active learning. So what does that mean? Well, it means that your Facebook account and Facebook is using its AI, it's using it's the data that you're sending back through the pixel, and it's actually building up a profile of your account. Okay, and if you want to see more inside of that, just click on this little tooltip here, and if when it's done, you can see an option to say it's complete. Look at delivery insights. Okay, so let me see if I can find one. Here you go. So once it's done, it'll say active initial learning complete. Okay, when you've done that, go into the tooltip here and then click on delivery insights. Okay, so this is just another layer of analytics that Facebook gives us, but it's more to do with like audiences and whether they are tapped out, you know, if you've saturated your market, that kind of stuff. Okay, so there's a little tooltip here. It tells you, you know, like a wizard, like what you can do. Okay, so for this particular ad set, you know, it spent this amount of dollars. Okay, and it's had the cost per result is $74. Number of purchases 2, and this is the number of impressions it's delivered. Okay, then what you can do is find out if an ad has stopped for no apparent reason. Okay, so for example, if you have an ad that's running and it's been doing really well for like 5 or 6 weeks or 5 or 6 months or longer, and suddenly it dies, you might want to look in the delivery insights, and this will tell you why. Okay, so this table here is very important, more important than anything else on this page. Okay, because it actually gives you an audit of each day. Okay, so you can see going back to the 30th of last month, you know, it delivered 11,400 impressions. The first time impression rate, okay, so the percentage of your daily impressions that comes from people seeing your ad for the first time is at just under 53%. Okay, and then your reach cumulative, this is the number of people who saw your ads at least once over the lifetime of your campaign. Okay, so what you might find is performance might dip on a day like this. Okay, so look, less than half my audience was new visitors, right? People who have never seen my campaign or my brand. Okay, and that actually goes up. Okay, so you want to keep it as high as possible. Okay, so this is good. Okay, this is good. So anything that's going above, you know, 85%, this is your percentage of your audience that's seeing your ads for the first time. Now, you can ensure this by having a lot of cold campaigning. Okay, cold interest targeting. If you're going to use campaigns with warm interests, like, you know, custom audiences and stuff, this is going to drop. Okay, because the same people will continue seeing your ads. They're going to get fed up. They're going to stop clicking. Okay, but you're still going to be paying for them, because remember, Facebook charges you for impressions. Okay, not clicks, not click-through rates, not CPCs, nothing. Okay, it's the number of times your ad has been delivered. Okay, and seen by your audience. So you want to keep it as high as possible. And what you might find is this is super low. Okay, it could be like 10%, and that means that you need to freshen up your ads. The ads need to target like colder audiences, and that's why you need a balance of both. Okay, you need a balance of cold prospect targeting, and you need warm, like, custom audiences. Okay, to retarget with. Okay, so that's how you access delivery insights. Let me just go back into the ads manager quickly, which is where I access the reporting. Okay, and let's just wait for that to load. Okay, so let me go back to the columns inside of Facebook. They have like hundreds of metrics. Okay, now you're not going to need all of these. Okay, this probably, I don't know, like 200 here. You obviously don't need all of these. Okay, so you can see that some of these are related to engagement. This is cost. This one is performance. Then you'll have messaging. You know, you'll have media, so video. You have awareness. So if you don't use awareness campaigns, this is not going to be relevant to you. Also, like apps. So there's stuff for apps on here. So you're not going to need, I mean, look at all this. These are all the metrics for apps. Okay, if you don't run apps or traffic to app installs, you don't need any of this. Okay, so my top tip here is just use the columns that are the most important for your objective. Okay, so I'm running conversion campaigns. These are very relevant for my campaign, for my monitoring of ads. Okay, So yeah, just make sure you think about that. Okay, so I said that one of my most important metrics is ROAS, or return on ad spend. The reason I like return on ad spend is because if I know that my customers or my client's account is, has a gross margin of 60%, right? I can work out very quickly. Okay, so 2.75 ROAS. We're going to take the first example. That means for every dollar that I spend on ads, I make 2.75, almost $3 in revenue. Okay, so that's a pretty high ROAS. Now, obviously, I have to factor in the ad itself. Okay, so I take $1 off. So now we're left with 1.75 gross profit. And then you want to take off your cost of goods. Okay, so how much did the product or service cost you to deliver? Now, most of my clients won't tell me the individual cost of goods for every product, because obviously that would just take forever. I would need like a costings sheet or like an inventory list. But instead, what we do is we take an average. Okay, so on average, I know for this account that my margin is 60%. Okay, so then when I'm left with $1.75 gross profit, I take off 60%, because that's my net profit, right? And that will then tell me for every dollar how much profit I've made. Okay, so then you just take off 60% of $1.75. So that's basically the easiest way I can do it. Okay, is find out how much your ad costs are. So we know this is 275 ROAS. We'll take off $1 for the ad, so for every dollar spent, and then we'll take off 60% gross margin, gross profit. Okay, and that's how you work out whether a campaign is profitable very quickly. Okay, the other option you have is you can work out return on investment. Okay, so that's a little bit more complicated, because you do need like a calculator, or you do need your fixed costs. Okay, so return on investment is actually calculated as your income minus your expenditure divided by your expenditure. Okay, so for this example, my income is $158,000. My expenditure with the ads is $57,500, and then I have to work out the cost of goods for these purchases. Okay, and once I do that, I then add it all up. So I add up the cost of goods for these products with the ad spend, and I divide it by the purchase conversion value, which is your income, and then that will give you a percentage. Okay, then you just times it by 100%, and that's how you calculate return on investment. So it's income minus expenditure divided by expenditure. Okay, and it's always measured as a percentage. All right, so that's basically it from this video. There is a lot you can do inside of Facebook reporting. There are the breakdowns as well, which I've covered in a separate video, of how you can optimize your ads further by looking at these delivery breakdowns, which includes age and gender, placements, regions, etc. Okay, so have a look at that video on reporting, and I'll see you on the next one.